Hey, thanks for checking out Fast Eddie's Chop Shop. Here you have every right to be wrong, and I'm going to break it down for you. Any money that you have in the bank, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck with Biden's economy, but I think that it is foolish to count on money in the bank. I don't care if you have $1 million in the bank. Obviously, if you have $1 million in the bank, that's better than nothing. But I contend that if I'm going to hold off on saying when, just because I went and saw Jordan Peterson last night. Great show. I'm going to be an optimist here, and so I'm going to hold off on saying the if and when. I'll just say if everything falls apart, that money in the bank, almost regardless of what you have, unless you're just uber wealthy, is going to be meaningless. I'm going to tell you what's going to be worth money, worth something. That's going to be food. Some people say, well, investing gold and silver will be great. Gold and silver will be great. Sure, best to have that, even over money, have lots of gold and silver. But that's not even going to help you. Let me ask you a question. Do you really think that when food is scarce, production is stopped, food is scarce, do you think that gold, I don't care if you have a pound of it, you're going to be able to give a pound of it to someone for their last loaf of bread? Do you really think that that's going to help you? No. What's going to be valuable to you is food and water and shelter. So, shelter is easy enough, food's not. I highly recommend, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with ordering a book on, foods that you can eat, from plants and all that. But also, it would be wise to have a chicken coop, to have a couple of goats or sheep in your backyard. I know that sounds crazy. But look, there are countries around the world when the crap hits the fan, people starve to death. They call it, what is it, food inequity or something like that, to dumb it down for the rest of us. No, that's people starving to death. When an economy crashes and things shut down, food goes in an instant. So there's a couple things that would be wise to do and not do here. I think that it would be ill-advised to live in a city. Do you think that if, like today, the power went off in New York, where there was a food shortage, if everyone thought it was hey, the lights will be back on in 2-3 days, or even a week, hey, we promise it's just going to be off a week, things would be okay. But do you think if the power went off or there was a food shortage, that it wouldn't escalate in about 24 hours to where there would be marauders on the streets? If the lights went out, the food was short, and the government didn't have any answers, or they had BS answers and everybody knew it, it would get bad very, very fast. So I think it would be, at this time, and any time really, it's silly to live in the city unless you absolutely have to for work or whatever. But food is the real money. If you go back long before electricity, long before it, not that long ago, when the settlers were moving across the West, food was more valuable than gold. Now, once they established towns and law and order, boom, here comes gold. And that's wonderful, gold and silver. But at the end of the day, food is the real money. So take it for what it's worth. Get some chickens, get some goats or sheep, some things you can have in the backyard. Chickens are great because they produce eggs, and at the end of the day, you can eat the chicken. Why am I talking like this? Because every time I turn on the news, what they're talking about right now, and they're trying to dumb it down, isn't good. they're trying to hide it through, hey, the, stock market's okay, this and that's okay. That's all great for the uber wealthy. But if you're not uber wealthy, things aren't okay. Have you been to the grocery store lately? Have you been to McDonald's and found out that a single meal is going to cost you between $15 and $22 depending on where you live for a McDonald's meal? And if you have a family of 3 or 4, you're talking about $50 to $70 at McDonald's to feed your family. You go to the grocery store. Gas right now is $5.99 a gallon right down the street from me. And if I look real hard, I can find it, I think, for $5.20. Really? $5.20? And I'm all, wow, that's great. Now in your area, it's probably, I'm in California, your area, it's probably a lot less, but it's still high compared to what it was. Look, a little peel off here. If you voted for Joe Biden the first time, I forgive you. If you vote for Joe Biden this time, I cannot forgive you. Because your head has to be so far up your rear end that you can't see daylight to vote for that man again. He can't even function properly. If he dies, the vice president, who word salad lady, becomes the president. I think it's absolutely insane and ultimately dangerous, the political situation the way it is right now, in terms of other countries looking at us. If you didn't like America and you were America's enemy, wouldn't you be looking right now at now's the time when now you obviously know that the puppeteer, the real controllers behind Joe Biden are in the background. And I have ideas of who and what that is. And I could be wrong, but it has to be something. That guy just, I don't think he's lying anymore when he makes up these stories. He's just remembering things. He's lying to himself and he's remembering things wrong. When I grew up, my mom had personal care homes, and I saw many of Alzheimer's patients, and the signs are all there. But I think that's the only thing that's kept us safe, is because they know somebody else with a brain is in charge, and we're still a powerful country, but it's still dangerous. Our values are gone. We're spending money like drunken sailors. They don't care about you and I. So therefore, you and I need to care about each other. And best thing we can do is help each other. But when the crap hits the fan, you know what, folks? As a general rule, we're not going to be helping each other. It's going to be every man for himself. So, and again, I'm just saying, if that ever happens, if the power ever goes out semi-permanently, if the food ever stops coming in, if you can't go spend $20 at McDonald's because everything's shuttered, then it would be wise to not have a bunch of money in the bank, but have lots of chickens in the coop. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good one.